All right, what's up, guys? Xraypc here. Hell yeah. We got another video for you guys, and this is gonna be for Seven Deadly Sins Origins. I decided to just pull the trigger and go super hard to put Seven Deadly Sins Origins content. It kind of gets my old audience where I have a lot of RPGs, JRPGs, gotchas, and then it's a game that I've been like super interested in. Seven Deadly Sins Grand Cross is something I played forever. I love the anime, I love the manga, and I've been waiting for Origins for years. Like they announced, like they've been working on a new Seven Deadly Sins game since like 3, 4 years ago, and it's finally coming out. Got delayed like 2 years in a row. So finally, it's coming out in 4 days. So here we go. Finally, we get to see what they have been working on. This came out January 15th. I have not looked at this, but this is I'm pretty sure this is the information that we're going to be seeing. Yeah. This is like all like new information of stuff that they updated. And this is like after the thing. And then, yeah. Let's see. A lot of this is just like gobbledygook. Let's just kind of skip over that. All right, let's go. As a result, we summarize the key areas for improvement that were most consistently identified through this closed beta test as follows. Controls. Feedback that character handling felt somewhat unresponsive and that the movement targeting were inconvenient. Combat system. Feedback that the difficulty felt excessive and that the combat tempo and skill response speed were too slow. UI UX. Feedback that the menus were structure was complex, making it difficult to find desired features and intuitively. Yes, 100%. That needed to be changed. Yes, the combat needed to be changed. It felt really, really, really slow compared to a lot of other action gotchas, and then and even just JRPGs in general. And then controls. Yeah, I mean, like it was kind of unintuitive. So if they really improved all three of these on top of everything else, then we're in for a good game. As these points are raised by many Star Guardians, we focus on internal review and discussions on the areas outlined above and potential paths for improvement. Some areas can be addressed relatively quickly. We conclude that many others would require a more than simple numerical adjustments. They called for a broader re-examination of the game's overall structure and improvements at the system level. Wow. I mean, honestly, that's they should have done more betas. Like they should have done like they would have figured this out like a year ago if they did the betas even that long ago. They took like so long to even do the first closed beta test, and then I think they had another one if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, like it just took them too long. They have another game. Netmarble has another game coming out literally like I think it's next month, either this month or next month. Mongol Stardive, and they did like 3 betas for that. So it's like, why did Seven Deadly Sins Origins only have one? I'm pretty sure only have one. And this after that one, they're like, yeah, we need to overhaul the game. But yeah, they're talking about that's why they adjusted the official launch of March, which now it's coming out in 4 days, March 16th. We sincerely apologize for not being able to meet you as the promise in January. Yeah, see, this game was supposed to come out in January, and then it was also supposed to come out in 2025. I think it was supposed to come out end of 2024. They delayed it. Then it was supposed to come out in 2025. They delayed it, and then they were supposed to come out January, and then they delayed it again to March. So it's like it was already pretty good, but obviously compared to the games at the time, mm, compared to the games at the time, I still liked it more. Like it was better than Genshin to me by a mile. It was better than what did Arknight's Enfield come out like February? So I guess that wasn't out by then. I feel like that would have came out and destroyed the games. I feel like a lot of people are hating on that game for some reason. That's like, dude, that game's amazing, and it just shows like that game's amazing. I love that game. I mean, I don't play it every single waking moment, but it's good enough that you don't have to do that. So that's why I like that game. It's not like other gachas where you literally have to play every single freaking moment every single day to keep up. Um, but yeah, I feel like that would have came out at least halted the thrive. If they did release this without these changes, it definitely would have died. I think. Um, oh yeah, Wuthering Waves. Like, dude, Wuthering Waves fans, like, if your game, it doesn't come out better than Wuthering Waves, it just they will just crap all over it, review bomb it. So, Ananta is coming out, which is like the GTA game, like anime GTA. That thing looks amazing. So, like, that's why I'm saying like the bar for a new gotcha game or a new just honestly a new Japanese RPG is just so high because there's so many other ones that were good, whether not even just Japanese RPGs, but not RPGs in general. The Chinese are making such good games, the Koreans are making such good games that if your literal bar is not like at Nanta level, or if these changes are all good now, Seven Deadly Sins Origins level or whatever, then yeah, your just games is gonna die on release. As combat is a source of enjoyment in Seven Days Since Origins, we are placing our focus on broad system level improvements, enhanced gameplay, feel, and overall completeness, rather than on simple numerical adjustments and combined attack system refinements to ensure that the impact of combined attacks can be felt more intuitively during combat. We're improving the system so that activating a combined attack immediately triggers a burst. Good. That's good. Burst system refinements to make it easier to clearly recognize when bursts are activated and what effects they produce during battle. We are strengthening individual feedback, including boss HP bars and damage indicators. Dodge system refinements to allow players to instantly recognize whether a dash-based dodge has been successfully executed. We're enhancing visibility by adding after-image effects along the dodge path, as well as screen shading effects. Improved character control and action responsiveness. We are improving input responsiveness across both movement and combat, while expanding action options such as aerial dashes and plunge attacks to provide a smoother and more comfortable control experience. So before, yeah, it was just hit the boss, hit the boss, hit the boss. Oh, that's cool. Now it's like you could hit the boss's right arm, you could hit the boss's left arm, and then you could hit the boss's hand, his arm here, like everything. But then if you hit him right here, whether it's the head or the core, it does critical damage. Okay, I like that. Mm. To reduce points of friction encountered while exploring the open world and allow you to, because that, I guess you got to do a lock-on feature. To reduce the points of friction encountered while exploring the open world and allow you to focus more fully on the joy of adventure itself, we are strengthening a range of convenience features. Standardizing key mapping. To provide a more consistent gameplay experience, we are standardizing key mapping, such as opening the main menu by pressing the escape key. Improved adventure guidance and movement experience. We're introducing an automatic movement feature that guides players to the main quest objectives, while also clarifying the conditions for using adventure skills during combat. In addition, we are enhancing visual effects when entering windways to better convey the sense of speed during fast travel. Okay. Is there like visual stuff for that? Oh, I guess not. I wish they put some set for that. Okay. Reduce gameplay fatigue and enhance details. We are introducing a feature that allows players to recover HP at campfires, improving navigation for material acquisition and visual effects for gathering, and reorganizing the overall UI UX to provide a more intuitive experience. That's good. Um, Let's just skip all that. Combat system refinements. During the closed beta test period, the area that received the most feedback was combat. Many of you shared positive impressions of the tag action and burst system, describing them as novel and strategic. At the same time, we also received feedback that it was difficult to intuitively recognize whether a dodge was successful or to clearly perceive damage timing during combat. In response, we are strengthening the feedback to elements throughout the combat so that the fundamental experience of attacking and dodging is conveyed more clearly. I'm trying to do the Gavin Newsom thing where he's just doing the stuff with his hands, bro. It's so hard to do. A combined attack system refinements. In the original Seven Deadly Sins series, scenes where two heroes join forces to unleash a powerful technique are moments many of you will remember vividly. Yes. For this reason, we view combined attacks as the most iconic elements for showcasing the unique appeal of each hero. Okay, so if this is like really good, this is gonna help sell characters later on in when the games keeps going, you know? In Seven Deadly Sins Origins, we set out to deliver a combat experience centered around a weapon switching system that allows each hero to wield 3 different weapons, enabling a wide range of combinations of tactical choices. Depending on the situation, combined attacks, the cooperative ultimate move performed between heroes, were also designed with this decision in mind. However, after carefully reviewing the feedback shared through the closed beta test and hands-on demo sessions, we found a common sentiment that the impact of combined attacks was not intuitively felt during combat and that their practical value did not always come across clearly depending on the situation. As a result, our development team is taking a comprehensive look at the combined attack systems so that they can go beyond a purely visual element and become an active choice that meaningfully influences the flow of combat. In particular, we're refining the structure so that a burst is activated immediately when a combined attack is triggered, with the goal of making the timing of combined attacks an important strategic decision during battle. Alongside these system changes, we're also strengthening guidance elements so that the players can more intuitively identify which heroes are able to use combined attacks, including a reorganization of the team formation UI. Through these efforts, we are continuing to improve the overall completeness of the system so that the presence and the usefulness of combined attacks can be felt more naturally during gameplay. In addition, at the time of the official launch, more heroes will be joining Britannia that were available during the closed beta test. The variety of combined attacks you can experience, along with their possible combinations, will also be expanded. We hope you enjoy exploring the different combined attack animations and shifts in combat flow that emerge from various hero pairings, and use them to shape your own unique combat style. So this is like the example is obviously Gother and Hauser, or is it Gil Thunder and Hauser? I said Gother and Hauser. Put the names together. Gil Thunder and Hauser, and then one does his tornado ult, and the other like puts it like in lightning. So you're doing a lightning tornado. So hopefully there's even more of those. There should be way more of these. To be honest, there's a lot of characters who help each other, and it's a lot of characters ones who should work well, but I guess they didn't think about that. So yeah, I don't know. As a burst system is a core mechanic that accumulates an elemental gauge and can be activated at decisive moments to deliver powerful effects and serious damage. We believe it is essential for players to be able to clearly recognize the state of the burst gauge during combat and strategically manage the timing of its activation based on the situation. However, after reviewing the feedback shared through the closed beta test, we were able to identify several common concerns raised by our Star Guardians as outlined below. I can see that a burst has been activated, but it's difficult to tell what effects are actually being applied. I'm continuing my attacks, but it's hard to distinguish whether I am currently in a burst state or not. In particular, during moments when combat visuals become more intense, the burst state and the normal combat state are not clearly differentiated on screen. As a result, we receive feedback with that. Based on feedback, we conclude that if activation effects of bursts are not clearly recognized, the intended role of the system as a strategic mechanic cannot be fully conveyed. Rather than altering the core structure of the burst system itself, we are therefore focusing on improvements on significantly enhancing visual feedback and visibility so that the key information presented during combat can be recognized more clearly at a glance. Hopefully, because like a lot of this, like this is the only thing you can kind of see right now, unless there's like another like more recent patch note. Because the game, this is all stuff that came out January 15th after the test, like a week after the test or something like that, 2 weeks, and then the game's about to come out March 16th. So I hope that they have a more updated thing that comes out. Shoot, I mean, I'll make another video like this if they have like this is exactly what we did, because these are like this is what we are gonna do, or this is what we already have in the works in our dev build. Whereas obviously it could completely change in like by now, and then for some reason the things they're saying here don't come through. So I hope like all this comes through. That's why I want to like really read through this so that I could be like, oh, they said they're gonna do this and they didn't do it. First, enhance visibility of boss HP bars and damage text. To ensure that the enemy states are not missed during combat, we are improving the size and design of the boss HP bars. We are also adjusting the size and effects of the damage text so that the feedback from each hit can be recognized more clearly. Second, clearer visual differentiation a burst by element. To allow players to immediately recognize when a burst is activated and identify effective attack timings, we are improving visual effects by displaying on-screen prompts at the moment of burst activation, along with enhanced size and effects. In addition, we are continuing improvements that make it easier to check information such as element changes and remaining duration at a glance. Dodge system refinements. We believe that one of the greatest sources of enjoyment in action, combat, blah, 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 blah. However, based on the feedback we received, many Star Guardians share that even when a dodge is successfully performed, the visual feedback is not sufficient, making it difficult to clearly recognize whether the dodge was successful as a result. Some players felt that this reduced our overall sense of completeness in combat. In a response, we are focusing on our improvements on strengthening the feedback so that the successes of dodge can be clearly perceived. Why is it only showing the after? I'm a big fan of games where they like slow down time and stuff. That let me see if they have like dev note videos or stuff that they just didn't show here. I don't think so. This might have been like the only thing. Okay. Um, but I mean, it's probably gonna look even better when the game actually comes out because this is still kind of old. Second, improved input responsiveness. In addition to visual improvements, we are refining character responsiveness so that the heroes can react more immediately to dodge inputs by shortening unnecessary motions after dodging and adjusting animation rules to allow for quicker transitions into subsequent actions. We aim to deliver smoother and more responsive controls not only for dodging but across combat as a whole. Third, the introduction of additional effects upon successful dodges. When successfully dodging powerful enemy attacks, additional effects will be triggered based on the hero type. Through this change, we hope dodging will go beyond a simple control action and instead become a meaningful opportunity that delivers a clear sense of reward. Improved character control and action responsiveness. Get through the gobbledygook, as well as jumping and attacking influences not only enjoyment of combat but also overall immersion. Blah blah. Okay. After reviewing the feedback shared through the closed beta test regarding character control, we identified several points of friction. These included comments such as feeling interruptions in movement during sudden direction changes or experiencing slower than expected responsiveness when transitioning to the next action after an attack. We also received feedback that jump actions and aerial movement were difficult to incorporate naturally into the flow of combat. Based on this feedback, we conclude that these issues were not limited to specific functions, but stemmed from overall responsiveness and the perceived feel of character control. Through repeated internal testing, we confirmed situations where input responses felt delayed or action transitions felt sluggish, resulting in a control experience that was not as smooth as comfortable as intended across both movement and combat. In response, we are re-examining character controls as a whole and moving beyond improvements in individual actions. Our focus is on reducing the gap between input and on-screen response and on refining overall control feel and action responsiveness. Ultimately, we are concentrating on building a gameplay environment where all actions respond fluidly. Okay. First, smoother transitions between movement animations. We are addressing the sense of interruption that could be felt during running, stopping, and sudden direction changes, which, yes, it was kind of annoying. There's like so many weird things that if you played it enough and you've played other games that like either had these things that they're trying to fix in a better state or at least in a vast better state or in a decent better state than what this was, you'd go, this is weird. You know, like you just every time you did anything, you moved, you jumped, you even just stopped. Yeah, you could just feel it. Like you're just like, this is kind of clunky. The overall flow animation transitions being worked so that such as coming to a stop, dashing, after dashing or making sharp turns connect more naturally. Second, the implementation of jump canceling during attack animations. Previously, when a jump input was made before an attack animation that hold fully finished, the action did not always respond immediately, which could feel sluggish. To resolve this, we're improving the system so that actions can be canceled during attack animations, allowing jumps to trigger instantly. Third, the introduction of the jump dash. Based on player combat patterns. Previously, jumping primarily served to overcome terrain or support movement, and its usefulness in combat was relatively limited. However, through hands-on demos and testing, we consistently observed Star Guardians using jumps during combat to evade attacks or secure advantages positioning. So now there's a jump dash. To better reflect these real gameplay patterns within the combat system, provide a more dynamic movement experience. We're introducing a jump dash feature allows players to jump dash or dash while airborne. I like it's just weird to me that game devs will say something like this, like it's a new mechanic when it's been in games for like the last like 15 years. It's just weird to me that's why I'm always like, is there like a thing like if you're a game dev and you're watching this and you someone made this far in a video and if you're a game dev, why is it that these games have existed all this time and these are basic mechanics now of like so many action games, right? A jump dash, especially in like a JRPG. I feel like JRPG is like the really wacky crazy ones of jump dashes, right? And like it's just like a thing that's like in so many games that I'm sitting in my head thinking, and I think even play MOBAs like with the two, and I'm sitting here thinking, why is this something you think of now? I mean, shoot, even Deadlock has an air dash. You know what I mean? Air dash is like, dude, Smash Brothers. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know. I just don't understand why they're just like, oh, yeah, we're going to do this thing where you could dash after a jump. And I'm just sitting here like, that's been a thing for years. But all right. Fourth, expanded usability of plunging attacks. As the range of actions available through jumping expands, we are easing the height requirements for performing plunging attacks. We are adjusting the balance so that the plunging attacks can be smoothly chained even when the distance from the ground is relatively short. In addition, we are preparing a more fluid combat flow that allows players to transition directly into attacks after executing a jump dash, enabling a more cohesive and dynamic combat experience. So before, it was wait what? Ah, okay. Who's doing their YouTube? Fire. In addition, we're continuing to refine various details to deliver a more satisfying combat experience, including improvements to skill effect quality to further enhance hit impact and visual feedback. We are also reorganizing the combat UI into a more intuitive format so that the key for information needed during battle is conveyed naturally in line with the player's line of sight. In addition, we are preparing a new growth guide system that provides guidance on areas where progression may be lacking after a defeat, helping players clearly understand what aspects of growth are needed. I'd see, like, right there, other gacha games forever had this. Why was this an afterthought? Why did they think that later into the life of the game they could add something as basic as that? You know what I mean? I'm just sitting here like, man, like a game I have on my channel, Inazuma 11 Victory Road. They were gonna have that game come out like a year before with like, or no, even 2 years before with like like horrible quality of life, horrible gameplay, like things that like you're sitting there like, who looked at this and was like, yeah, go ahead and release this. Thank God they didn't even do that. And then a year later, we got the beta. And then from there, we're like, nah, you got to overhaul a lot of this. Then they overhauled a lot of it, delayed the game another year. And then bam, we got the game. And then all of a sudden, it was amazing. You know what I mean? Like, it was just like, holy, you know. It's just, it's like, at least they did delay it that 2 months because a lot of these things are like things that every game has. So they would have released with like so many things missing and everyone would have just like slaughter them. You know what I mean? Like they would have made no money. So a lot of people would have quit and they would just move on to the new thing. There's like 3 or 4 gotcha games come out within this month and next month combined. So it's like even their own game. Mongol Stardive, I think, literally has this growth guide thing. Beyond the main bosses that guard the final stages of dungeons, we are also carefully refining the combat patterns of elite monsters encountering during exploration. Rather than serving as enemies that are simply passed by, those encounters are being designed with a wider variety of patterns that offer deeper combat challenges and a greater sense of strategy with the goal of maintaining tension throughout exploration. Through these efforts, our development team is not focused solely on adding new features, but on the refining the game as a whole with a high level of completeness so that every moment Star Guardians experience across Britannia can feel rewarding and satisfying. Dude, reading this much when I have allergies coming kicking up is crazy. Exploration convenience improvements. We believe that blah 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 experience blah 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 to allow you uh without fatigue. Um so standardized key mapping. We believe that learning how to control the game should not feel like an additional form of studying when first logging in. However, during the closed beta test, we received significant amount of feedback indicating that the keyboard shortcut layout differed from what players are accustomed to in other games, making controls. Yes, it was. Rather than and I'm like sitting there again. Who the hell is making these games sometimes, buddy? Like I said, pressing the escape will now intuitively open the main menu. Why was that not like that before? Instead of having no assigned function, the R key has been adjusted to activate an ultimate move rather than an adventure skill. Adventure skills are completely useless, while the ultimate obviously is meant for combat. R is readily available next to your movement keys, so it's easier to always hit that. And like I say, shooters, like if R1, R is reload first thing R, so it makes sense in your brain. But also, it's just like it's right there, so it's like easy to move your D key finger over to the D key. You know, it's just like it just you just slide it over. So it was just so intuitive to have that. And even in like let's say like wow, I use R for certain abilities, so it's like it's just intuitive to hit that. You could be like I'm never like hitting one either. I feel like that's not intuitive for me. So I do 2, 3, 4, maybe 5, and then R, and then I use mouse buttons. So it's like things like that. Like those are just the more intuitive keys to hit. And then B has been assigned to open your bag instead of triggering a pet skill. Like what? You know what I mean? The only other thing I can see is I. You know, I forgot what it was before. I wish I had all the gameplay I had. I streamed the game for like 3 days straight, but I just don't have all that gameplay. anymore. Twitch auto deletes everything. Controller controls and carrying out detail. Oh yeah, this game's also gonna be on PS5. It's coming out PS5 and PC before mobile. I think mobile fully releases on the 23rd of March. Steam and PS5 comes out on the 16th. Navigation assistance and enhanced main story immersion, riding pet auto movement. We believe that one of the greatest appeals of an open world game lies in the freedom of adventure, the ability to explore the world freely without being bound to a fixed route. Our development team has always placed great importance on preserving this value. However, through the closed beta tests and on-site demo sessions, we found that many players lost their way across the vast continent of Britannia. It did get confusing. In some cases, that disrupted the flow of the main story or left players feeling unsure about how to reach their next objective. As a result, we engage in careful, eternal discussions regarding the introduction of an auto movement feature that temporarily takes over player control. Ultimately, we concluded that a supportive option was needed to help maintain the flow of story without diminishing the enjoyment of the exploration. With this in mind, we're preparing a feature that allows players to automatically travel to the destination of their current quest by riding a pet within the Seven Deadly Sins origins. That's actually cool. And then obviously pets are faster than walking, and you're not using stamina, so that's actually cool. You just hit the quest button, and it automatically just uses whatever mount you have, and you just take it there. I like that. That's cool. This feature is designed to serve as a friendly guide, helping players stay fully immersed in the narrative of Seven Deadly Sins origins when they lose their way during free exploration or feel burdened by long travel distances. Of course, for those who prefer discovering their own paths, we can always explore Britannia freely through direct control and uncover its hidden corners at your own pace. We encourage you to continue your journey in the way that best suits your style. Improved Windoway's visual presentation, thank God. The windways, which allow players to traverse vast skies of Britannia, is such a key feature long distance. However, through feedback gathered during the closed beta test, we identified concerns that even after entering the windways, the increase in speed was not clearly felt compared to the normal flight or gliding, while the movement speed was in fact increased numerically. We determined that the lack of supporting visual presentation made it difficult for players to perceive this difference in speed. So this is the before and after. Why does it show an actual appropriate for the most part before and after here? Who's working in the YouTube department? To address this, we are improving the visual presentation and camera effects when entering the windways. At the moment of entry, we are adding visual effects along the edges of the screen to emphasize a sense of speed, while also enhancing the wind flow effects surrounding the hero. Through these changes, we aim to ensure that players can clearly feel the acceleration and the dynamic rush when traveling via windways in Seven Deadly Sins Origins. So yeah, it was like hella slow before. Now it actually like does like the FOV change, and it looks like the movement speed boost is way bigger. See how like that was what look at. I mean, it barely has that before, but look how nothing happened. I didn't even understand the point. I think you did go faster, but you didn't see it. Like the animations of the bird don't change nothing. You can see the wind effect. That was it. So now, boom! And like you could tell like a big boost of speed just hit, which is weird because other games had this. But you know what? At least they're doing it. You know what I mean? All these games had this for years, but at least they're doing it. You know what I mean? Campfires, a place to rest anywhere. While exploring the open world, there are many moments where HP is rapidly depleted after intense battles. During on-site demos as well, we observed many Star Guardians traveling across the field to reach goddess statues in order to recover their health, which was very annoying. Campfires were originally designed as a feature to allow players to cook food and restore HP by consuming dishes they prepared. However, we found in a situation where players lack sufficient information about cooking or do not have enough ingredients, which getting ingredients was very annoying. This process could instead interrupt the natural flow of gameplay. To address this, we are adding HP recovering function to campfires, allowing players to place them anywhere in the field and take a moment to rest. This was like the dumbest thing ever. It's like you had to run around the map forever, kill a bunch of enemies that give you meat, or find a bunch of plants and do a bunch of this, or go to shops and buy ingredients to then drop the campfire to then make a meal, to then use the meal to heal. And I was like, that's just so unintuitive. And it's like, if you didn't want that, you had to fast travel to like, what was it? A Star Guardian thing, like a statues, and then, or goddess statues, and then boom. And then that's how you got your health pack. So now you have the goddess statues, you have eating food that you make from campfires, and then the campfire itself heals you. So while you're making the food, you can just do that. Or you don't even have to make food, you just drop the campfire. Look how fast you heal. Yeah, before it was just horrible. With simple gathering and crafting, you can place a campfire anywhere in the field, rest with your companions, and prepare for the next battle. HP can now be restored at campfires while cooking, or serves as a separate role by providing various buff effects that support combat exploration on top of healing. So it's still that. So you still have three. Now you have three sources of healing. We hope. Oh no, four. I guess if you have a healing character. But yeah, we hope campfires allow you to enjoy moments of quiet comfort and leisure as you travel through Britannia. Additional quality of life improvements and detail enhancements, in addition to the major changes outlined above, we carry out a variety of improvements aimed at enhancing overall convenience and polish throughout the gameplay. So now, just it looks cooler when you open a chest. Oh yeah. No. It's faster to open a chest. Yeah, boom, in like 2 seconds instead of 4. No, 1 second. 1 second compared to 4. It was like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, oh, yay, we could open a chest. And it's like, oh, what's in here? And it's, oh, the 5 gems. Okay, but like, but now it's like 1 second. Because I mean, like, these things, there's too many of them. There's too much stuff to do. I don't want to sit there for 4 seconds per chest and open each one by one. Collect all item feature added to reduce the repetitive input required when collecting items after exploration and combat thing. God, thank goodness. We are adding a feature that allows nearby drop items to be collected at once. Through this improvement, we are aiming to ease the burden of item collection and allow gameplay to flow more naturally into the next action. Improve visibility of gathering materials. To ensure that the important materials are not missed during exploration, we are enhancing the sparkle effects and visual cues of gathering materials. This will make it easier to spot required resources even from a distance. That's actually good. Yeah. See how like it had the sparkles, right? It has these little things coming off of it, but I ran past a lot of those. So now it just freaking flashes. Okay, cool. That helps a lot. Smarter material acquisition navigation. When searching for materials required for cooking and crafting, we're enhancing the navigation logic so that it guides players to locations where materials are actually visible rather than spots that have already been gathered and are now empty. By excluding recently collected locations and directing players to the nearest currently obtainable resource, we aim to support more efficient gathering. Great. Because that's what I was saying. Like it was, dare I say, AIDS. So, and then you had the campfire. You had to gather all that so you can make the campfire stuff. Just to make the campfire, I think you had to get stuff, and then you had to get the stuff for cooking. It was just too annoying. Photo mode added. That's cool for people who want to do that. I'll let you see that right here. So you can like adjust the camera, boom, boom, and take a picture. Camera behavior adjustments. We are improving the camera system center responds naturally to both combat exploration situations, helping prevent restricted visibility or disorientation during gameplay. Enhanced tutorials and combat guidance to make the game's depth easier to understand, and refining the initial tutorials and improving combat guidance across the overall gameplay experience. Open world ambient sound effects added. Or ambient sounds. We are enhancing immersion by adding richer ambient sound effects such as wind and footsteps to better convey a sense of presence in the open world, which is it's something like that is like something you kind of look past and think like, who cares? Some people even get their game sound off. Like I play, like let's say I play Dokkan Battle, my game sound's always off, even though I love the music. It's just sometimes I just don't want to hear. Like I'm trying to watch YouTube videos, or I'm trying to play another game or something. So like when I'm just farming, my game sound's off. But like when you're really trying to engage yourself in the game, engage yourself in the world, your first impressions are just nothingness, and then like you just all you hear is that, and then just walking again, nothing. You don't hear anything, no footsteps. Like they didn't even have footsteps before. I don't really like wind is like cool, and then you have like the bird sounds some here and there, and then like things like that, and you in between all the music playing and stuff like that. Because especially when the music like in these games, there's music, and then for the area, and then the music just turns off, and then we'll replay, we'll loop again in like 2 minutes or something. Well, in the time it turns off, and if it's just pitch quiet, like it's just dead quiet. I mean, it's just you like start falling asleep. So. Comprehensive UI UX improvements to reduce control fatigue. We are reorganizing buttons and menu layouts based on commonly used UI flows and interaction patterns. In addition to these updates, we continually closely review a wide range of detailed elements to further improve the overall completeness of the gameplay experience. Also note, this is from January 15th. By now, March 16th, 2 full months later, the game is going to be vastly different. Even they might have a lot more quality of life features that they just never thought of, and they didn't think they had enough time for, and then maybe they had enough time to push it in, because I'm not like like yes, they could just delay it another 2 years and just pump like maybe a couple of betas here and there, and then fully release it again with like even more quad life and even more areas and way more starting characters. But like, there's a certain point where it's like, okay, you gotta just release a game. The longer people wait, the more people just don't care. I have a lot of friends who've been waiting for this game for so long, they kind of just don't care anymore. So it's just like they're gonna have to just try to pump out as much quality life as possible, make the combat as good as possible in the frame they have, and then just release a game. During the previous closed beta test, some of you may have noticed a wider scope of Britannia through the partially revealed world map. We are particularly struck by the active discussions among Star Guardians regarding whether these regions would be available at the time of the official launch or introduced later through future updates. Could clarify this point with the world map areas you saw during the closed beta test are currently being targeted for release at launch. At present, we are continuing detailed work across each region's accompanying story to ensure they can be delivered with a high level of completeness. Accordingly, beyond the Dragon's Grave, revealed through the closed beta test, Tristan's expansive story will continue through Bast Prison, Forest of White Dreams, and the Capital of the Dead, and Vanya, all of which are planned to be available at launch. Wow. So not just the starting zone, which actually felt like it was a good amount of content. We're getting Bass Prison, which is shown here, Forest of the White Dreams, the Capital of the Dead, and Vanya. Bass Prison, a new ruler to formidable boss. Tristan and his companions make their way to Bass Prison, a location familiar to fans of the original series, now transformed into an even darker, more ominous place. Oh, this is where they had to go free Bond. This notorious prison where Bond was held captive is now ruled by a new master. It's funny. I didn't even see that. I just saw that giant statue. What it looked like. This is Bass Prison. Yeah, I remember that. And then they had to fight. Was it Jericho? No, the girl with the. Oh man, I can't remember every enemy. I think there was one extra enemy they had to fight. Gila. I'm pretty sure that's where they had to fight her too. Here, Star Guardians will face the members of the Weird Fangs, enemies who once tormented Meliodas and his allies in the original story. Golgius, Jude, Ruin, and Frisia. I always wanted, I think it was a Golgius. One of these guys in Grand Cross, I always wanted to make work for some reason. Now standing in your path as far more formidable threats than before. So I think they show them here. Yeah. Yeah, this guy. That's Golgius. Okay. I remember. Oh yeah, this guy the freaking yeah, okay. Oh wait, that's Golgius. That one's Ruin, right? I think that's Golgius. This guy got some kind of like they're like in a sense they get like unique equips or like something that makes them improve later on. Oh yeah, they had like cosmetic things that would improve your character. There's like a new weapon that would enhance your character to like a more playable state, and his is like actually meta for a little bit. Oh, her too with the spider head. Yeah. Okay, cool, cool. Forest of the White Dreams, a hero in the mist. Beyond Bass Prison lies the Forest of the White Dreams, a mysterious region shrouded in the dense fog that obscures one's view. Within this dreamlike forest, Tristan encounters a faint silhouette of someone emerging from beyond the mist. Who is this figure hidden within the fog, and what kind of conversation will Tristan share with them? In the Forest of the White Dreams, where memories from the original story intertwine with a new narrative, we invite you to discover the answers for yourself. Each newly revealed region is home to distinctive monsters, powerful bosses shrouded in mystery, and the dungeons filled with the thrill of exploration, all awaiting our Star Guardians. Above all, we hope this challenging journey becomes a meaningful opportunity for you to meet new companions who will stand by your side as reliable allies along the way. So the thing about this game, you guys got to understand too, is it's not even the Four Nights of the Apocalypse, like that newer one that happened after Seven Deadly Sins, the sequel manga and story now that's in the anime is out. It's not that one. I think those guys will enter this one because Tristan's at the end of Seven Deadly Sins and he's in that one as the son of Meliodas and Elizabeth. But this one is a completely original story. Like none of this story is like the entirety of the story from beginning to the end is completely original. So that allows them, if they want this game to go for the next like 8 years, 10 years, they can make this game story go for the next 8 to 10 years as long as people keep playing, which is a great thing. It's not going to be, okay, we're doing the anime, we're doing the Four Nights of the Apocalypse, and it's gonna go from beginning to end, and maybe near the end we make an original story, and then we try to slowly expand from there. Nope, completely original. They can just make characters up, and that's good, and then add characters from like that one in the original Origins character or the original Seven Deadly Sins characters older, because this is like after the original story. Like this is like when Tristan is like that move that happens with Tristan before they like there was like this CGI movie. That's pretty much, let's say like a year after that one. That's when this takes place, or like 6 months after that one, or something like that. Pretty much just like the time frame this is. So Bond's older, everyone's older. People have like they look different, and everything. Hauser looked way older. So yeah. Well, hopefully this game is a lot better. Hopefully they actually give us real patch notes when the game comes out, because a lot of this is, yes, we are doing this, but obviously things could change. Obviously, like the map stuff, like they haven't even shown us. They only have one of the maps fully done. Except this one they didn't even have done yet. They're just gonna tell us, and then the other two maps that they said here, I mean, definitely aren't. I mean, like they aren't describing it. But yeah, the capital of the dead and Vanya are two extra locations. So we're getting, and these are major regions. So it's like that's just a base region, bro. It felt huge. Like it felt like I was gonna be there for a good bit. And now we have Bast Prison. So it's gonna be one, the base one, then Bast, then yeah, five major regions. That's insane. That's probably the most I've seen for a new game. Like, look how big this is. And this is not even, dude, you have like the entirety of things behind him, over here to the right of him, over there, the giant forest. It takes forever to traverse this. And they're going to have four more major regions as big or even bigger than this, or maybe a little bit smaller, depending on the one. Like, that's insane, bro. That is insane. And we still have to do everything and get everything in order, because Arthur is going to probably be the one of the main villains. So because Arthur ended up being, becoming one of the main villains at the end of the Seven Deadly Sins story. That's what the whole point of the Knights of Camelot, or the Four Knights of Ragnarok, or whatever the hell it's called, is about. Four Knights of Apocalypse. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed that. Hope you guys have a great day. Peace out. See you guys in the next Seven Deadly Sins video.